Welcome, everybody, to Intensity Broadcasting. My name's Josh Hall. This is the SCSRA Truck Series, Morris Customs Truck Series, here with their season opener at Daytona. I'm joined in the booth tonight by Brian Canuti. Brian, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Just looking for some great start of the season racing and watching these best SCSRA truck drivers battle it out.
Yeah, practice is just concluding now. There's no point standings to show because it's the first race of the season. Last week we did have our opening all-star race, which was a great race. If you haven't watched that one yet, go back and check that one out. But right now we get the season underway as we got our first drivers hitting the track, and let's see our first driver make his way out on track, and that looks like it's going to be Dustin Dean rolling.
Yep, Dustin Dean, one of my teammates over in the Xfinity Series, and then also he's teammates with all my teammates here in the Truck Series, and definitely hoping for him to make a nice comeback in racing with us in the SCSRA.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing what he can do all season long here in the SCSRA. Let's see who else is out on track right now. We've got the 11 of Brett Merle out on track.
Surprised he's out there, especially with the earthquake that happened up in Northern California today. Definitely thoughts and prayers out to the people that lost their lives out there. A lot of drivers, unfortunately, affected by the power outages and everything that's going on up there. And hopefully they can get their power back shortly, and they are able to rejoin us.
It does look like a couple of the drivers who were affected by that are in the race here tonight. We see Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence out on track right now, so he was able to get back underway. Michael Provolt as well, and I believe Provolt, if I'm not mistaken, is actually from Eureka, California, which was basically the epicenter of the incident.
Yeah, Provolt was right there in the middle of it, and Cheeseburger was slightly far off. But actually, surprisingly, Provolt right in the middle of it was able to get power back. I think before the other Northern California guys were able to get it back.
You see Cheeseburger coming across the line, taking the green flag here in his first of two laps. Who else is out here on track? We see the 68 of Devin Buccino out on track.
Definitely the early season, one of the early season favorites for the possible truck championship. Definitely one person. Definitely, I'm not seeing out there or on the list is Cody Moore. Hopefully, he's able to make it in time, and he's another one of those early season favorites. But definitely Devin Buccino, last year's Truck Series champion, and then also won it 2 seasons ago. Definitely early season favorite. Very strong driver, especially on some of the mile and a halves, and does a pretty decent job at all the other tracks effectively.
One driver I'm looking to see have some success tonight is this driver right here, the driver of the 37 Wasted Wages Racing driver. That's Derek Chaput. We know he's fast here on the super speedways. We always see him doing a great job out there on the super speedways, and doesn't look like he. Well, actually, I do see Cody Moore in the team room, so it looks like he just signed in, and he is on track right now, just rolling off a pit road.
Oh, that's good. That'll definitely help. Oh, there he is. Well, that'll definitely help Chaput's chances at getting a decent finish tonight. Just having just another teammate out there, not necessarily just saying Cody's going to be able to help him too much, but having another teammate out there definitely is a big giant help.
And one driver already up to the top of the board. That's the 97, a rookie of David Hoitzma.
Yeah, we got a lot of new names out here. Hoitzma so far, Manny, he's put it Allbeard. I'm gonna have to try to figure out these names. We'll learn as we go. But we got a lot of new names in the series, and glad to have them. Definitely gonna be a strong rookie season this year.
For sure. Another one of our rookies here is Timothy Stubblefield, who's just got some support in the chat. I see Jessica Stubblefield said, "Let's go Stubbs." So there you go. We got our first chat on the YouTube here. And whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, or Twitch, don't forget to hit a like, follow, and subscribe. Hit that little notification bell so you know anytime we go live here on Intensity Broadcasting. And make sure to let us know who you're pulling for here tonight. As we see Stubblefield coming across the line here on his taking the green flag to make his first of two laps.
Yeah, looking forward to this new season, meeting all these new drivers. I hung out with a few of them in Discord recently, but really looking forward to talking to them, getting to know everybody a lot more. I love meeting new people and uh, just having new people join this league and try to expand it and grow it is going to be a great thing.
You know, you saw Jacob Albert go P8 on the board currently, as we see Stubblefield making his way into turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, he's a little bit too high up off that yellow line. I don't know if this is going to be the greatest lap.
Well, we do know that the trucks tend to run the fastest on their first lap, so we'll see where Stubblefield ends up here on his first lap. He's going to go P8, knocking Albert back a spot.
I mean, it's a fast lap, but 4 100ths of a second is quite a bit at Super Speedway Racing. I think if he was a little bit tighter on that yellow line, it would have been a better lap.
And Cody Moore goes P2 on his first lap. 1/100th of a second slower than the 97 Hoytsma.
Yeah, Hoytsma's holding strong up there. I don't know if we have anybody. Who else do we have left to go? I think that might be it.
Well, no, we've got the Fried Piper himself, Eddie Morris, out on track right now.
Here we go. This is my boy. This is my teammate.
Eddie, definitely one of the fan favorites here at the Super Speedway. I think he is, if I'm not mistaken, the winningest Super Speedway driver in SCSRA.
Yeah, he's basically the Dale Jr. of our league. He's always up front. He's always just really kills it on these Super Speedway Racing. I wish I could learn some things from him, but there's some things you just can't teach.
That is for sure. And Michael Provolt just jumped up P2 on the board, knocking Cody Moore back a spot.
Nice job for Provi. Looks like this is going to be a good lap right here. He is right there on that line.
Coming down across the stripe, and Eddie Moore's going to jump up to the top of the board with a 52.30. 1/100th faster than Hoytsma.
Yeah, he was just a little bit closer to that yellow line than anybody else.
And that's all it takes is just that little bit. I mean, especially at Super Speedway, it is literally a game of inches. So we'll be watching for that here tonight as we see Eddie coming down the backstretch on his second lap.
Yeah, the second lap's just for show at this point. Just to try to get a little more broadcast time. Try to get that Morris Customs paint up on the air. Which, by the way, if you need a fresh new paint on iRacing, hit up Eddie over there at Morris Customs.
For sure. There is a link down below to his Facebook page in the description. So, yes, check out our title sponsor, Morris Customs, for all your iRacing paint needs.
Looks like Atlee didn't have the greatest qualifying, but hopefully he can work his way up there. He was able to win the one of the shootout races last week to get himself into the All-Star race. Did a heck of a job.
For sure. And while we got a second, let's mention one of our other great sponsors here on Intensity Broadcasting. Of course, that is the Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker is an established and trusted leader in gaming haptics. The award-winning line of Butt Kicker products lets users feel ultra-low frequency sounds. Their products are used and endorsed around the world by leading PC and console gamers, including professional sim racers. The patented design makes them incredibly accurate, powerful, and virtually indestructible. The Gamer Plus is the new and upgraded sim racing haptic that reproduces immersive, accurate, and powerful sim racing, flight sim, and gaming effects. To check out the full line of Butt Kicker products and figure out which one's right for you, visit thebuttkicker.com. And not just do they have gaming haptics, they have subwoofers that you can put on or in your couch for listening to music or watching movies. So they've got a full line of products over there. I love my Butt Kicker myself. It lets me really feel what's going on with the car on the racetrack. So if you're looking for that little extra immersion and a little extra feel, check out thebuttkicker.com. Of course, our series sponsor, Morris Customs, you can visit their link down below in the description, as well as our other associates. You can check out Race EPI for all your iRacing coaching and setup needs, as well as our website over at intensitybroadcasting.com for all your hats, t-shirts, coffee mugs. Atlee's Atman Weiss's racing gears there, as well as, of course, some of our novelty t-shirts. We even got our own underwear over there as well. So you can check out the full line of products over at intensitybroadcasting.com.
Whose face is on the underwear, Josh?
No, it's the big bushy bearings underwear.
Oh, okay. It'd be a little bit better if somebody's face is on there. Like
Well,
like
you know what? If you
Cody Moore right on the backside, that would be a good one.
You know what? We can make that the one of the SCSRA products, so I can pitch that over to the producer and see what we can do with that.
I mean, I might buy a couple pair.
So it looks like we've got actually qualifying is just ending right now. So we're going to take a look at your starting grid. And starting on pole tonight is the 8 of Eddie Morris. Dave Hoytsma will be rolling off from position number 2. Michael Provolt in the 3rd position with Cody Moore in 4th. Then Dustin Dean and Michael Lawrence round out row number 3.
Yeah, you got Joseph Wright in 7th place. You got Austin Blaylock in the 8th spot on the outside there. And then on the inside of row number 4, you got row number 5, you have Brett Merle and Derek Chaput. On the inside of the next row, you have Timothy Stubblefield, one of our new drivers, alongside with another new driver, Jacob Albert.
Then you have Michael Dunn rolling off 13th with Edward Manning from the 14th position. Zachary Cox and Devin Pacino will make up row number 8 with Jeffrey Belk and Atlee Weiss, both of the IDBC racing teammates, back in row number 9. Rounding out the field will be Sylvan Seguin and Jason Kraft. I know Brian Nudi's name is there, but he's up here in the booth with me, so he will be calling the action alongside as we get ready to do 70 laps around Daytona International Speedway. We're going to do some super speedway racing, some drafting, some side drafting. It's about to get wild.
I'm extremely excited. I think this race is going to be great. This is really going to showcase some of the talents of the new guys, showcase some of the talents of the older veterans in this league, and some forgotten drivers who are making their comeback to the series. We got Dustin Dean, Austin Blaylock, 2 drivers that have been in this series before, been away for a little while, but are making their comeback.
So as we get ready for the pace car and the field to roll off onto the track, again, we want to thank everybody for joining us here again tonight, whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Twitch. We do appreciate you tuning in here tonight and spending your Tuesday night with us as we get ready to get this season underway. Of course, a nice season to look forward to after this one's over. We'll be rolling on to Charlotte after the new year, then Bristol for some short track racing. More short track racing over at Rockingham, then the double points race at Darlington. Homestead, Watkins Glen for the doubleheader. Atlanta, Iowa, and Chicagoland will make up the regular season. Then our playoffs will be at Richmond, Michigan, Talladega, Phoenix, and ending the season at Las Vegas. So a lot of unique races, including the double points at Darlington and the doubleheader at Watkins Glen.
Those are actually 2 races I'm super looking forward to watching and calling. Darlington, just it's too tough to tame. It's a very long race, lots of extra sets of tires. Normally we only have 3 extra sets of tires per race, but we're going to 5 for that race, a little bit longer. It's just going to put a whale of a show on. Definitely who can manage their tires the best will probably end up winning that one. And then the week after that, just the double with the full invert at Watkins Glen is going to be absolutely wild.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with the full invert in the Xfinity series last season, and looking forward to that again this season. And stage racing returns. We're going to have our stage break on lap number 25 here tonight. And we'll pay out points to the top 10 with playoff points going to the winner of the stage. But here we go. Pace car is getting ready to take that hard left-hand turn on the pit road. Eddie Morris is going to lead him down to the green flag with David Hoytsma up on the outside. Green flag is in the air, and we are racing here at Daytona. And already Eddie Morris with a big jump out in front of Hoytsma. Michael Provolt right there on the back bumper trying to give Eddie a big push as they make their way down into turn number 1 for the first time. Dustin Dean rails right there in the third spot on that bottom lane. We know he's a good pusher. We saw that all throughout the All-Star race. And we'll see as both Provolt and Dustin Dean was pushing Provolt for a second. Now he ducks down behind Eddie Morris as Provolt's got a great run down the backstretch with a big push from Dave Hoytsma as they make their way down towards turn number 3. Joe Wright.
Ditch him just so he can get those 3 CCM drivers lined up on the bottom there. You got Eddie, Dustin Dean, and Joe Wright all lined up on the bottom. 3 teammates.
Yeah, Joe Wright right there on the bottom, and just behind Joe, believe that is the 11 of Brett Merle right there. Yes, that is Brett Merle in that neon machine. Another driver who knows how to draft here on the super speedways, and Dustin Dean jumps up to the high side. He's trying to take the lead away from his teammate.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's trying to take the lead from her, or if they're just trying to control this race and just try to get the outside and the inside. That's what Wasted Wages team usually likes to try to do. They always try to block the inside and block the outside lane to where it's pretty much just their, as I say that, I'm proven wrong. So it looks like he just wanted the lead.
Yeah, Dustin Dean up to the front with a big push from Michael Provolt. Almost a disastrous push as he got real loose there in the middle of the straightaway. And you'll notice these trucks move around a lot on the straightaways. Oh, one truck up into the wall. That was Devin Bacino. We saw the smoke coming off the side of that truck. Doesn't look like it did too much damage.
Oh, it was Cody Moore, actually. I think he's dropping to the back. I'm not sure if he just didn't like what he was seeing up there, if he's dropping back to try to get in touch with his teammate and try to go back to the front that way.
You're right. That was Cody Moore, and those 2 trucks are painted so close. Oh, what a round!
Oh, that was Hoytsman. Oh, wow, that's half the field.
That's a big one here.
A lot of rookies. Hoytsman. You got Austin Blaylock, Dustin Dean.
See, Hoytsma
still not moving.
Yeah, Hoytsma's going to have to reset, and that's going to bring up our first wreckage rewind of the night as we take a look to see exactly what started this one here tonight. And like you said, that was a pretty big one right there. And I think the best view of this one's going to be up from the blimp. See Hoytsma there in the 3rd spot on the high lane. That's that red and green truck. Dustin Dean gets a big push, gets out of shape, gets up into the wall, comes down in the Michael Provolt, and then Dean back up into the wall. Cheeseburger. Michael Lawrence going down to the inside on the apron, and then all hell breaks loose as we see Hoytsma get up and over on the side, up and into the fence as the rest of the field comes plowing in. See Atlee Weiss just barely getting a little piece of that. We see Austin Blaylock involved, the 23. That is Jason Kraft caught up in this one as well. Derek Chaput involved.
It looked like Stubblefield almost made it through, but unfortunately he wasn't able to get through. A lot of drivers just nowhere to go. Just super Speedway Racing, definitely bad push. Provolt looks like it caused that whole deal.
And that's really easy to do. As I was trying to say, is these trucks are really loaded up in the corner. They have so much downforce and so much grip in the corner due to the banking and the speed. But when they're on the straightaway, these trucks really move around a lot, and it's really easy to get one of those trucks out of shape as the entire field is now making their way down pit road.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's just coming down top off, making for fuel. I'm not sure exactly what the fuel run is on this. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get that information before the race started, but odds are, oh, looks like Eddie missed his pit stall. That might be costly. He might lose the lead on this one, but not sure what the fuel run window is. I'm sure it was probably pretty close to the actual stage. Otherwise, I don't see any reason why anybody would have came in.
Yeah, the stage is on lap 25. The fuel run is between 24 and 27. Depending on how you're out there running. We do have quite a few messages here in the on the chat. Nancy Boylan says, let's have a great night. 23, Jason Kraft, who was caught up in that one. But fortunately, these drivers have resets. They're able to get back out on track. Sean Reese says, Stub Nation. And Jessica Stubblefield says, wow, yeah, unfortunately, the big one comes out here tonight early. But again, these drivers do have one reset, so they have one mulligan in the pits, if you will. If they're involved in an incident, they're able to get back out there and get those trucks fixed up.
Definitely, yeah, definitely loving these new drivers already. They look like they got a little bit of a fan following out there, which is awesome. Love seeing people in the chat being interactive with us. Gives us something to talk about sometimes. So comment in the chat. We'll talk to you. We'll answer you as long as we got nothing else going on.
It's the nice thing about having as many monitors as I have. I can see it all. So
Perfect. I can't see anything. All I can see is your screen, and that's what I'm calling.
well, there you go.
So Brett Merle looks like he stayed out. We had Belk, he stayed out. Moore. Joe, he was the first one to pit who came out. Yeah, it looks like Eddie lost a couple spots. Eddie lost 2 spots, it looks like. Well, they're lining up double file. We're about to go back green racing, boys.
For sure. And looks like Brett Merle's going to choose the inside, putting Jeffrey Belk up on the high side. Cody Moore, Joe Wright will start in row number 2. Michael Provolt, Eddie Morris back in row 3. And then Michael Dunn and Zachary Cox back in row 4. Jason Kraft and Atlee Atman Weiss back in row number 5.
I am not sure who the 62 is, but I really enjoy that paint. That Tide throwback paint is just beautiful.
That is the 62 of Mike Dunn in that Tide ride right there, and very reminiscent of the old Darrell Waltrip scheme or Ricky Rudd, one of those two. It's definitely one of the older paint jobs with just the orange, yellow, and white, and definitely a nice throwback. Even got the Tide helmet on his on that ride, so definitely a nice little callback.
Might be a Ricky Craven.
It could be a Ricky Craven.
With the blue paint like that, that might be Ricky Craven throwback paint there.
Have you ever?
I have never. Here we go. It looks like a lot of drivers came in to top off for fuel, so everybody's in the single file line back there. Hopefully nobody does a little lane change violation there. We get going back green, and hopefully there's no bad pushes. Easy though.
Here we go. Back to the Geico restart zone. Green flag is in the air. Brett Merle is going to fire off and get us back underway. Jeffrey Belk, though, right there on the outside lane, use a little side draft, trying to get that truck's momentum slowed. And when you side draft on a driver, that's when you want to get right down on the door of that driver. It's going to dump all the air onto that big spoiler. These trucks, as they cut through the air, create a big wave of air like cutting through water. And if you can dump all that air down onto the spoiler, you can slow down that truck next to you, as we see Jeffrey Belk now getting out to the lead with a big push from Joe Wright. Eddie Morris and Joe Wright now lined up on that high side.
And also Cody Moore ditched out on the backstretch. He does not want to be anywhere near the front right now. He's just playing it smart. He's going to ride this thing out, and then with however many laps left to go, I'm sure he's got a number in his head. Him and should put both of them, probably they're going to go towards the front.
Yeah, Dustin Dean way back in the mix here as well. A couple drivers a bit off the pace right now, as we see
another driver bailing out.
Yep, we see Sylvain Seguin up there in the 16th position, currently running about 8th on the track, but he is showing 1 lap down. He is the first driver in the lucky dog spot, as Eddie Morris giving Joe Wright the big push down the backstretch. And Joe just barely ahead of the 54 of Belk as they go down into turns 3 and 4.
They're locked up and they're a lot tighter on the top, but unfortunately, it just looks like the bottom might be king right now.
We got a lot more drivers down in that lower lane, although here comes that 62 of Michael Dunn coming to the back bumper of Eddie Morris, and that's going to help that top lane up. He doesn't want to push on Eddie, but he wants to be right there on that back bumper to try to get that momentum going.
Yeah, he needs to line up on him just a little bit better, just try to streamline that air a little bit. I'm not sure if he's close enough, but it looks like it is helping. He's definitely pushing out there.
Yeah, and you don't want to push the pusher. And when we say bump draft, and you don't want to actually bump the guy in front of you, you actually want to roll right up onto that back bumper, get connected, and then start to go. And that can actually really push that line forward. And if you do that, you can stay connected all the way around the track without having to lift. But a lot of drivers lack that finesse to be able to hook up and keep going. And that's where you see a lot of wrecks in the corner as people like to bump a little too hard and get people a little out of shape.
Yeah, you gotta be you gotta pick and choose where you're gonna really push. I think it might be a little bit too early. These drivers up front are just being very aggressive. Everybody just wants to kind of be out front and kind of ride, but you got to push to get there. And unfortunately, the people that are out front right now, they don't want to give it up. So it's just it's a hard-fought battle up there with a long way left to go in this race.
How about Atlee Atman Weiss already up 10 spots up into the 8th position. The announcer you'll have tomorrow night in the Xfinity Series currently running up in the top 10. We know he's knows his way around these super speedways. We saw him win the All-Star Open, and now he finds himself up in the 8th position trying to move his way forward. Although he was involved in that last incident, I don't know if he's got a little bit of damage or if he was able to take his reset, but currently up there in the mix.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much damage he got. I think he just might have used the damage clock on there. It looks like he's got a little bit damage there on the left side. I don't think he's going to be using. I don't think he uses fast repair, so he still's got one in the bag, I think.
Couple messages here on the chat. Brian Merrill Jr. says rough to watch and race. Unfortunately, with he's one of the drivers who was not able. Oh, big wreck on the front stretch.
Oh no! Oh, do we not have a caution? Oh, we have a caution.
Caution is out, and I saw Joe Wright turned around in this one as well, as he is still sideways across the track, and that's going to bring up our second wreckage rewind of the night. I just barely caught that out of the corner of my eye as they were all wrecking.
Well, unfortunately, my favorite paint job of the evening looked like he was involved in that one.
Again, we'll go up here with the blimp to give the best view. Making their way. It looks like, oh, Provolt tried to stick it in there 3 wide. Barely right reared the 11 of Brett Merle. And that sent off the chain reaction. You see Joe Wright hard up into the outside wall. Michael Dunn down on the apron trying to avoid it. Then he clips. I believe that's Zachary Cox. Comes back across the track. We see Atlee Atman Weiss going through the grass, avoiding this one. Dustin Dean as well. Dean's just barely able to sneak through there. Austin Blaylock, not so lucky.
Once again involved.
Yep,
Yeah.
same with
Chino's.
Bacino.
Like he got a little piece of it. Yeah. Well, I thought it was number 95, but it looks like the 47 out there today, Recky Stenhouse. Unfortunately, he's caused both wrecks tonight, but hopefully we still get everybody out there rocking and rolling, and everybody who uses fast prayer didn't have to use one this time, and everyone who used it this time didn't have to use it last time.
We're going to ride along top here with Cody Moore to see exactly what he saw here. Just how fast it happens. He sees the smoke. He tries to check up, and man, Cody was able to get right through it.
Yeah, he without a scratch. Well, see, and that was him laying back early. Just everybody's just being too aggressive at the beginning, just up front. Everybody needs to lay back a little bit and just calm down. And it's a long race. 70 laps. We got a long time to go.
As we ride along here with Austin Blaylock, and you see what he saw. And he thought he was going to be right through it, and unfortunately he's caught right up in it right there. So Jeffrey Belk still out front as we work we're coming to lap number 13. It looks like Derek Chaput getting waved around here, back onto the lead lap. Going back to...
I have to step away for just a second to do some admin roles, but I'll be right back.
And we'll go through the chat here. So Brian Merrill Jr., again, one of the drivers who was unfortunately caught in that California earthquake. Unfortunately not able to race tonight. Jessica Stubblefield says she thinks Stubbs blew his engine. Nancy Boylan says, let's try this again. 23. Don't mess up that 23 paint job. And yeah, Jessica Stubbs says I wasn't expecting that. And yeah, that's two big wrecks here, which is easy to do. Unfortunately, with super speedway racing, with the pack as tightly packed as they are, it's really easy for a small incident between two drivers to take out almost the entire field. So
Yeah, just very aggressive driving up front. Not just for Provo, just kind of everybody involved. Everybody was just everybody just wanted to lead. Nobody wanted to be laying back except just for a few drivers. And those few drivers were able to squirk through.
So we do see Stubbfield on pit road. He is a couple laps down. Only 2 laps down, which with a long race like tonight with 70 laps and a stage break, there's plenty of time for him to get back up onto the lead lap.
Yeah, definitely like to be able to get back on the lead lap. Like to see some of these rookie guys be up there contend and dethrone some of these older veterans of this league.
You know, it wasn't that long ago where there was a Xfinity race at Talladega where the driver who came in 3rd place was 2 laps down.
Who was that?
That would be me. It was the race Cheeseburger won, and I came across the line in 3rd through the grass.
Oh, the race Cheeseburger one. Yes, I remember that. Yeah, that was one. That was definitely a fan favorite for sure. Cheeseburger definitely well loved amongst all the fans and all the drivers.
And Cheesy B up here, currently running back in the 10th position, and he's a super speedway driver. He knows how to get around this track, so we'll see if he's able to continue that here. But the lights on the pace car are off. Pace car dips down on the pit road. Jeffrey Belk and Atlee Atman Weiss up on the front row as the green flag comes back out. We're back racing. Dustin Dean right there behind Belk, trying to give the shove. Right behind Atman, you've got the 52 of Cody Moore.
And it looks like the 95 has been parked for the night for causing the 2 incidences. We do have the Own It system, and after you cause 2 incidents, you have to park it for the night.
Well, 3 wide now as Jeffrey Belk's caught up in the middle. Dustin Dean taking the low side, Atman up on the high side, and Belk is in that sucker hole as they come down the backstretch. Unfortunately, he's going to have to go back, but Atlee Atman Weiss to the lead.
To the front with that little bit of damage on that left-hand side. He is rocking and rolling. Cody Moore looking like he's done hanging out in the back. He's ready to push and go towards the front as well.
We're 10 laps from the end of the stage and a little separation now in the field as our first 7 now starting to pull away from the rest of the pack. Now the rest of the pack starting to get single file and caught back up.
Strong in that bottom. You got Dustin Dean right behind him. Dustin Dean is a heck of a pusher on these super speedway races. He's not a very good leader. He'll even tell you himself. But pushing, he loves to push, and he does a great job of it. When you're on his front bumper, you do not feel unstable at all, and he is awesome at it.
For sure, as he's giving Atman the business as they make their way down through turns 3 and 4. And Dustin doing exactly what he needs to do, rolling up to the back bumper, not making contact through the corner, and then able to get right back to that bumper to give the big shove down through the tri-oval. Belk, though,
but they got a little squirrely back there. It looks like there's that Zachary Cox. Not sure what happened there, but he got real loose coming off of turn 4 there.
And it's really easy. These trucks do get a little bit loose in the transition there. We saw that in the Xfinity series last week as well. Those Xfinity cars are going to be a handful tomorrow night. So watch for that tomorrow night as the Xfinity series takes on Daytona in their season opener as well.
Yeah, I'm hoping just not wreck on lap 1 or 2 or get DQ'd from the race from causing accidents. I usually don't cause accidents, but I'm usually always involved in them.
So we take a look off the back bumper of Atlee Atman Weiss's truck right there at the 21 of Dustin Dean as Dustin Dean takes a look up to the high side.
God.
Oh,
and 3 wide.
Brett Merrill.
I was about to say it looks like they're settling down a little bit before to settle down towards the end of the race, but they're just going for it right now. Once again, they're getting dicey again.
Saw Brett Merle get shoved out of line. They were 3 wide. Brett's going to dive out of this one. He's going to fall all the way back into the 8th position as the field comes rocketing down the backstretch. And now Atman's going to give the push to Dustin Dean.
I'm surprised that Dustin Dean wanted to go out in front. He's always told me he loves to push and he doesn't like to lead, but right now he's doing a pretty good job.
You see Cody Moore up on that high side, and we're getting close to the stage break here. And hey, let's do a little bit of what I like to call pump up the intensity. Love hearing these trucks make their way around this speedway at full song. Dustin Dean up to the lead. He's got Atman Weiss giving him the push. Zachary Cox third in line on the low side. And then you've got Cody Moore and Jeffrey Belk up on the high side pretty much by themselves. They do have the 00. I'm sorry, that is, that's the 00 of Alberg trying to work up there as well. He is currently showing a lap down, but doesn't mean that he can't try to work up there and try to get his lap back the old-fashioned way. So as they make their way down the backstretch, we are coming to the end of the stage. Eddie Morris now, look at him up into the 6th position, 4th on the bottom, trying to get himself back into the mix here as well. And now Derek Chaput jumps up on that high side. He's trying to get something done here. As the rest of the field behind, we see Brett Merle, Devin Bacino, Jason Kraft back there, currently running a little bit behind the field, trying to stay out of it in case something was to happen. But with the end of the stage coming up shortly, I'm sure we'll see those drivers making their way up to the front. They have not lost the draft yet, but they're in jeopardy. But they are running single file, and as you run single file like that, it does give you the opportunity to try to gain back up on the rest of the field. As Cody Moore now almost taking the lead away from Dustin Dean. Jeffrey Belk right there on the back bumper as they make their way through turns 3 and 4.
Looks like our highest running highest running rookie right now is Edward Manning. He's doing a pretty good job up there in the 7th position.
Yeah, he's right down underneath Derek Chaput and right behind him. Again, that is the 00 of Jacob Albeard. But he is currently a lap down. Our lucky dog right now will be the 66 of Sylvain Seguin as they make their way towards the end of the stage. He is... actually, I take that back. Joseph Wright is in the lucky dog spot, and he isn't even in the same zip code as the rest of the field.
Yeah, Joe Wright definitely off the pace. He's got no help right now. The truck looks okay. I'm not sure exactly what's going on with him.
I'm not even sure. I'm just trying to double check to see if he is indeed a lap down. As Atman Weiss has now jumped up to the high side in front of Cody Moore, and he's trying to get the lead away from Dustin Dean.
Joe Wright is actually the last car in the lead lap. The pits have just been closed. We got 2 laps of the stage. This is going to be exciting right here.
Cody Moore was just sideways through the corner. Zachary Cox giving the business to Dustin Dean. Eddie Morris back in the 3rd spot as they're making their way down through turns 3 and 4. Atlee Atman Weiss up on the high side. Cody Moore, Jeffrey Belk up there as well. Can they get anything done here? As Eddie Morris was trying to look up to the high side here. Zachary Cox thought about taking a move up to the high side as they come down across the stripe.
1 to go. Here we go for 1 playoff point and 10 regular season points.
And it looks like Joe Wright is going to lose a lap as the field is quickly approaching that 82 machine. Atlee Atman Weiss up on the high side. He's got a run now with a great push.
Looks like Dustin Dean blinked out there a little bit. Nothing too crazy, but definitely probably spooked Cox a little bit. Doesn't want to push him as hard, and they are pushing and shoving up towards the front. I am worried about them going into 3 and 4.
So they make their way down into turns 3 and 4. Atlee trying to hold on to that truck up on the high side. He's got Cody Moore right there on the back bumper, giving the big shove. Derek Chaput looking down. Joe Wright now giving the draft as Dustin Dean gets a big shove from Zachary Cox, and Dustin Dean is going to win the stage as they come across the line 3 wide. And Joe Wright
Wright is able to hold on and not go a lap down. Oh, wow, they're wrecking after the stripe.
Yeah, it looked like Atlee just got up into the wall just a little bit.
Hopefully nothing too bad.
So as we get things lined up here, we see exactly what the results of the stage were. We know Dustin Dean won the stage. I just don't know if it was Zach or Atlee who came in second.
Yeah, I have to go back and watch the replay of that one. That was definitely exciting coming off of turn 4. I wasn't sure if Zach Cox was going to turn Dustin Dean or not, but Dustin Dean wisely kind of floated back up towards the top once he realized that Cox wanted that maybe just a little bit more than him. And they were able to come across almost 3 wide, or actually 3 wide. And Dustin Dean looked like he got that one.
So let's see if we can see here. We got the replay. Dustin Dean does come across the line and win the stage. Zachary Cox in second. Atlee in third. Eddie Morris in fourth. Derek Chaput in fifth. Looks like Belk's going to be back in sixth. The 69 in seventh. Actually, that wasn't Chaput. That was Cody Moore that came across the line in fifth. Then
looks like Cody got into the wall a little bit there, it looks like.
Yeah, and then Belk, the 69 of Manning, Chaput. As we get the rest of the field lined up here, and we go. So it looks like Brett Merle came in 8th, Devin Butchino in 9th, and Jason Kraft, the last truck to get a stage point here, as the entire field will be coming down onto pit road. And yeah, you're right, Joe Wright just barely able to stay out in front.
It's surprising, though, that they still put him behind the pace car, so he's going to have to get a wave around and everything. Yeah, that's odd. I don't know what to say to that.
Same thing happened to me last year at Talladega, where I was in front of the pace car when in front of the leaders when the caution came out, and I got stuck a lap down as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is going to happen on this particular occasion. Looks like Cox just missed his pit stall.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Not sure if that's going to happen on this particular occasion with Joe Wright. Looks like nobody. They're already getting waved around. Looks like him and Chaput getting waved around the pace car. And yep, there they go. That's Chaput. Yep.
Yep, Chaput was the lucky dog here. No, Chaput was Chaput was the lucky dog here. He was the first truck one lap down, so he was able to get the lucky dog and get himself back onto the lead lap. Dustin Dean is going to make his way off of pit road first. Followed by.
Why don't we try to get Dustin Dean down in here and give him a quick little interview?
We can surely do that.
I'll jump up there and.
I can pull him right down. Just like this. Hey, Dustin, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, Josh.
Man, great job getting that stage win out there. Talk about the racing out there. It seems like it's been pretty wild there since the drop of the green flag.
Yeah, it definitely has been. We've had way more wrecks than I thought we'd ever have. Only 25 laps into this thing. I've had to use a fast repair already, and so I can't wreck again, that's for sure.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of other drivers had to use a fast repair. Looks like everybody's being very aggressive early. Looks like it's calmed down a little bit, except for that last lap there. That was pretty crazy watching you guys come three wide across the start finish line there. What's your thoughts on pushing versus being pushed? I was a little shocked to see you jump out in front there. I know you like pushing versus being pushed, but what are your thoughts? How does the truck feel?
Yeah, it feels good being pushed and pushing. Usually I do like to be the pusher just because you have more control coming to the last lap. But Atlas was really good at pushing me there, and then Zach Cox took over, and they both tried to get me there at the end, but we kept it clean, and somehow I stayed out front just enough.
Well, Dustin, good luck the rest of the race. We look forward to seeing how this one plays out for you, and we'll be talking to you again hopefully at the end.
Thank you guys so much.
Good luck.
So that was Dustin Dean, driver of the 21 and your stage winner, as the lights on the pace car are off. We're going to re-rack them, restack them, and get ready to refire them. Dustin Dean's going to roll off in that first spot. Zachary Cox to the outside. Jeffrey Belk and Edward Manning back in row number 2. I'm going to find Brett Merle and Atlee Atman-Weiss back in row number 3. And I can't tell if Atlee still has damage to the right side of that truck. I know.
I'm not sure about the right side, but that left side, he's still got a little bit of damage there. But I'll tell you what, somebody will keep watching. He's there. He's there. He's been there all race. Is that Edward Manning? He's been near the front pretty much the whole race, but not up in the mix, getting dicey with everybody. That's somebody I might want to be watching at the end of this race.
Yeah, we ride along here with Atlee Atman-Weiss. We can see that little bit of damage to the right front there. So watch for that as this race goes on and see if he has if that damage affects him at all. But here comes the pace car onto pit road. Back to the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. We are back racing here at Daytona. A bit of a jump there.
Yeah, a little bit too much of a jump there. He definitely needs somebody. It looks like he's going to try and play both lines there, but not sure if that's going to work out too well. He got too good of a jump.
Yeah, as you see Jeffrey Belk now go up to the lead with a push here from Brett Merle. And Edward Manning there back in the third spot.
I'm telling you, that's the guy. That's the one I'm going to watch right there. That's my guy. If I got to pick anybody that's going to win this race right now, I think I'm going to have to go with Edward Manning.
So now Dustin Dean trying to hook back up with that 51 of Zachary Cox. They were working very well there at the end of the last stage. Atlee Atman-Weiss right there as well. As long as he's, with that damage he has, as long as he stays tucked in behind another driver, he should be okay. I just don't think that truck's going to be able to lead too well as Dustin Dean squeezes down in front of Manning. And then
Not much room there, but he was able to make it work.
Yeah, he thought about making his way back up the track and end up tucking back in. It looks like Zachary Cox now all out of shape there. He's going to tuck in behind Manning as Dustin Dean is all alone back up on the high side, hoping for some help from Atman.
Yeah, Atman's a little too far back. I don't know how much help he's going to get. He probably should have just stayed down there. They might get too much of a run, but if Cody ends up ditching Atman, which he does not, he's back up there. He's right behind him. Maybe they'll get enough of a run to where you can get up there and start contending again.
Devin Butchino there as well as we see one truck heading down towards pit road. That is the 51 of Zachary Cox coming down on the pit road.
He must be serving some sort of a penalty of some sort, not sure.
As Dustin Dean getting the big shove from Atman and back up into the lead. That 21 truck is stout.
Yeah, the 21 truck definitely. I mean, if I got to change my pick, I guess I'd go with the 21, but I'm still going to stick with the 69. The 69, he's just always right there. But man, that Dustin Dean, he's a hard guy not to pick right now. He is aggressive. He just wants to lead this thing. He wants to lead the most laps. Get that extra bonus.
You know, I'm not trying to play favorites or, be biased here, but I'm looking at Atman right now, and we know he showed some speed in the Open. We know he won the Open. And we'll see if he's able to continue that momentum here. I mean, this is just like what he does in his Bandolero down at Langley, wide open all the way around the track, using a little bit of drafting, a little bit of pushing. So he's familiar with this, and he's comfortable with this, and you can see that as he's up front as the field goes by Austin Blaylock.
Yeah, he's killing it out there in those little bandoleros. Wasn't he ranked #1 in Virginia, or what state was that?
Yep, #1 in Virginia, and having a hell of a season last year, and we'll see what he's able to do this season as, racing's not too far away.
Yeah, and then when I go out to visit my sister out there in Virginia, I definitely have to try to swing by and watch Atlee race. Actually, Joe used to work with my brother-in-law, and that's actually kind of a funny story how we ended up realizing that.
So the field now back 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, 4 rows deep. Atman up on the high side, losing a little momentum. That high lane losing the energy there as they make their way through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, I'm not sure Atlee's holding the greatest steady line, and I'm not sure if Cody feels the most comfortable pushing him. Looks like he's doing a pretty good job right now.
Yeah, Atman trying to use that seam right there, trying to get his way around the corner, but you can run a little bit lower. I know some drivers feel like they pinch if they're a little bit lower than that, but I know I like to be right there on the door of the driver on the inside. I just have that much respect and that much, confidence that driver on the inside isn't going to push up into me.
I usually just follow the guy who has ever in front of me and hope we don't wreck.
Although these trucks do look like they're handling a whole lot better than those Xfinity cars did last week. That actually shocked me last week because you were actually giving me a push, and the whole back end of that car just came around on me as Atman now stuck up on the high side, and he is going backwards in a hurry.
Yeah, I was definitely shocked at how loose those things were as well. The truck's definitely a lot more stable. Like I said, they punched that big hole in the air, and they handle the air a lot better.
Now Devin Butchino up to the high side trying to lead the top lane. He's got some help from Cody Moore and Derek Chaput as Brett Merle now jumps up into the high lane in front of Butchino. And they're trying to form that high line yet again.
Yeah,
all right.
Two neon drivers and two wasted racing drivers up there on the outside. They're just lined up 2 by 2. Then everybody else is just kind of. I don't see any other teammates out there other than those two. Oh, you got Joe Wright and Eddie back there. They're ganging up. But there are other teammates out there in front. Nobody to help him. But look at that! What a push!
I was going to say that top lane. That top lane was formed up so much better than the bottom lane, and you saw exactly why. As Dustin Dean had a little bit of help from Belk, but Belk had no help from behind, and those 4 trucks on the outside are going to be faster than 2 trucks any day. So put Brett Merle up to the lead with Devin Butchino up to the high side. There's some side draft from Cody Moore as Dustin Dean pulls up in front of Cody, and he's going to try to retake the lead.
Take the lead off the front bumper, that 52. The 52, he's a heck of a pusher too, so we'll see. He might be able to get back up there, but I'll tell you what, Devin Butchino right on the back bumper and Brett Merle, that is going to be a tough battle to try to get by, or tough tandem right there to try to get by.
Dustin Dean almost got cleared of the 11, and now down into turn number 3, he does get clear.
Not much of clear, but it was clear enough.
As they work by the lap truck of Austin Blaylock staying down on the apron out of the way. And here comes Brett Merle now up to the high side. Butchino going to follow him, and Dustin Dean has no help on the low side. Watch him get freight trained by that entire top line right now.
I am shocked at how aggressive these guys are being up front. This is wild.
Butchino now down to the inside lane. That's going to put Brett Merle by himself up there with Cody Moore and Derek Chaput.
We just passed halfway, and these guys are racing like it's the last lap. This is insane.
Couple drivers hang back. And this is unusual for the Neon guys. Normally the Neon guys like to hang back, and they stay back there out of the way.
Yeah, right. They're trying to do that whole ever since the wasted wages guys. They've really done the whole dictating these super speedway races. Everybody's been trying to mimic that ever since they started doing that, and I haven't really seen any other team be able to do it as good as them so far.
As Dustin Dean goes back up to the lead. Brett Merle trying to use that high line again, trying to get a hold of Cody Moore as Cody Moore now gets the push up on the high side and down the backstretch. A lot of side drafting, a lot of moving around.
Okay.
So now Dustin Dean back up to the front. Devin Bucciano moving up to the high side. Jeffrey Belk trying to push his way through as well. And oh, big wiggle. Brett Merle sideways. He's wrecking. Brett Merle up into the wall.
No.
Cheeseburger got a piece of it as well. Caution out on the track. And that's going to bring up another wreckage rewind. We saw that starting with Brett Merle, who was completely sideways coming down through the straightaway there. Let's take a look here from the blimp, the iRacing blimp, to see exactly what happened. And it looks like a bump from Cody Moore. Got that 11 out of shape. He comes back across the track, turns back into the 69 of Manning. Sylvan Seguin, who was the lucky dog, gets a piece of it as well. Atlee trying to avoid it. Looks like he's going to get woed down enough to avoid it. He does. And then Cheeseburger just nowhere to go, gets a piece of it. And it looks like just two trucks really involved there as Atlee was able to avoid another one. So that is our fourth caution of the night. Third one for incident. Dustin Dean is out in front of Devin Bucciano, and I'm sure we're going to see everybody come down pit road one last time to get fuel and tires to make it to the end.
Yeah, it's gonna be close to making it to the end on this point. How many laps? How many laps do we have left to go?
It's going to be when they come down pit road, they're going to have 30 laps to go.
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna be able to stretch it that far.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really close. Some of the guys who were running back in the back of the pack may be able to stretch it. But if you're leading, you definitely won't, as the entire field now making their way down pit road. Dustin Dean hits his stall. Cody Moore coming down and hitting his... Oh, he's a little slow into his stall. Eddie Morris hits his stall perfectly. Looks like fuel only for Dustin Dean. Looks like most of these drivers are taking fuel only. So Dustin Dean will have the lead. Devin Bucciano is going to restart in the second position. Jeffrey Belk back in third. Derek Chaput in fourth. And how about Eddie Morris back up into the fifth position here tonight?
Yeah, Eddie's definitely one of those guys that you always got to watch out for at the end. But I'm just wondering where my buddy in the 69's at.
Well, Edward Manning is still on pit road. He was involved in that last incident. Brett Merle came right across his nose.
Yeah, hopefully he's able to get that fixed. Hopefully he didn't have to use a fast repair earlier, and hopefully it's not too bad. Yeah, it looks like you had those couple drivers getting that wave around there. If it goes green, it's not going to be very beneficial for them. But at the same time, they are on the lead lap, so that is good. But not the greatest chance. Well, Zachary Cox, he had to serve that penalty from earlier, so looks like he's getting back on the lead lap. That's going to be a big plus for him. But not taking and not having to or not being able to take fuel here though is definitely going to be pretty painful. That's good with Stubblefield getting back on the lead lap. We know we got a bunch of fans out there cheering for him, so hopefully he can pull through and get salvage a decent finish out of this one. And then just leaving him high and dry. That's Jason Kraft out there in the 23, and you got Cox right behind him. And there's that 69. Once again, he's always just every time they zoom in or every time you're watching up front, he's always just right there. I'm telling you, that's 69. He's the guy to watch. There we go. That's actually our first rookie. It looks like they might be able to lead a lap here in this league this season. Jason Kraft said, "No, you are not taking this away from me. I am leading the lap." Jason Kraft, your first ever rookie this season to lead a lap. I'll tell you what, he did an awesome job last week in that in the shootout. Almost thought he was going to win both those races actually, but ended up getting caught up in some stuff. And he's definitely very strong at these super speedways. We'll have to see how he does the rest of the season with intermediate tracks and short tracks. But so far on the super speedways, he's doing a great job. Looks like he's got a little damage there on his right front. Everybody's really calmed down. I'm wondering if we're gearing up to the points where a lot of guys that needed a pit for fuel, maybe they're kind of stretching out or kind of spreading out, picking their spot to where they can't actually come top off for fuel and take back off.
I didn't realize that I was muted there. I had coughed and forgot to turn my microphone back on. But yeah, I'm back. I apologize for that as Jason Kraft up to the lead off the front bumper of Derek Chaput. And as I was saying, they're starting to calm down a little bit, get single file. And you see a couple drivers coming off of pit road right now. That's Dustin Dean and Michael Dunn. as Cody Moore now tries to work that high line all by himself.
Yeah, I'm not sure how well that's going to work out for him. Looks like he's going to end up falling back to the back. Yeah, he's falling back quite a bit here. Don't think Devin's going to let him in. But awesome battle up front. Jason Kraft just doing an awesome job up there.
So yeah, a lot of these guys starting to get single file, starting to save a little bit of fuel. I think Cody Moore is the only one that's trying to use that high lane right now, and I don't think that's going to help him as he's going to burn a lot more fuel up on that high lane.
I am very shocked that with no help whatsoever, he's even able to hang up there at all. I would actually expect him to just drop straight to the back, which he is now, but he was definitely hanging in there for quite a bit. He was hanging in there for at least a full lap there, right next to Devin.
Yeah,
and he jumps back out there again.
You know, if I'm out there at this point right now, I'd want to just kind of ride half throttle if I could. Try to save as much fuel as I can. The one driver who's burning up the most fuel right now is that 23 of Kraft being up in the lead.
Yeah, if he's close on fuel, that's the worst place to be. The 37, he's just back there saving fuel. I'll tell you what, though, if I was that 69 and that 52 pops out again, I would jump right behind him and try to better my chances if there's a caution that comes out, get that wave around.
So Edward Manning is currently running back in about the, that looks like the 8th position on track, but he is one lap down, so he's actually back in 10th. Trying to hold on to that lucky dog spot if the caution does come out to get himself back in a position as Cody Moore is still trying to use that side draft, trying to get himself up towards the front. But nobody wants to work with him right now as everybody's just trying to save some fuel.
I'm surprised his teammate's not even pulling out for him. He's just right there locked on the bottom, just doesn't want to jump off Jason Kraft's bumper at all, and he doesn't even care to help out his teammate at all, I guess.
To come across the line here, we have just 20 laps to go.
To go. This is the calmest I've seen them all race. I saw them more dicey on lap 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 than I have right now. Everybody must be out of fast repairs, so nobody wants to wreck.
Yeah, that's kind of what it's looking like right now as you see the field just coming buzzing by. Now Cody Moore kind of just riding in line, starting to figure out that right now riding in line might be the best thing for him. As Jason Kraft continues to lead, and Nancy Boylan's up there saying, "Go Kraft, go, hang in there." Trying to cheer Jason up to the lead here and keep him in the lead.
Yeah, he's doing an awesome job out there, just out there cruising. Looks like nobody really wants to get too dicey right now. I expect in about 10 laps, it's going to get pretty wild up towards the front.
We see the Michael Dunn machine, that 62, tucking down onto the apron, letting the field roll by. And now Chaput's really far off that 23, and I don't know if he's gearing up to get a run here or what, but he's fallen off of Jason Kraft quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he did gear up to pass. We're about to find out. Looks like he might have just got a little squirrely there coming off of turn 2, or maybe just with the lap car with Kraft jumping out to the high side there. Maybe it just kind of threw Chaput off, backed off a little bit. But everybody's cruising and rock and rolling now.
So it'll be really interesting to see when drivers start making their way down on the pit road, if they have to make their way down on the pit road. Again, fuel looking like it's going to be a factor. A couple drivers we know probably aren't going to be able to make it. That 23 of Kraft, that 52 of Cody Moore, who was up on the high side by himself. That is definitely going to kill your fuel. Couple drivers back here, though. Drivers like Jeffrey Belk, Atli Atman-Weiss, able to run back in the pack a little bit. They don't have to use as much throttle. They don't have to use as much fuel to keep up with the drivers in front of them, and that's going to save them a ton of fuel. So we'll see with 17 laps to go how this plays out, if anybody needs to make their way down pit road to top off or not.
Yeah, Yeah, I definitely think you're going to have a lot of cars that are going to have to come down within about the next 10 laps. I'll tell you what, though, when it comes to fuel mileage, that 68 is going to be the car to watch. Or the truck to watch. Truck cars. He just, when it comes to fuel mileage, I don't know if there's anybody that can save fuel better than him, or the fuel mileage game. He seems to do it better than anybody else in this league.
For sure. And Nancy Boylan says that 23 Jason Kraft is her grandson, so that's who she's cheering on up front right there. As we are coming to 16 laps to go. Another driver who's really good at saving fuel, especially on these super speedway races, is that 82 of Joe Wright, who's kind of hanging back in the pack right now, back in the 9th position. Expect to see him here at the end as well if it comes down to a fuel mileage race.
Yeah, 82 and the 8 just stuck together, just logging laps. Still unsure what happened to Dustin Dean earlier. I'll have to try to get some type of call with race control and figure out exactly what happened there. But just logging laps right now, just trying to save some fuel, looks like, and we'll see. As you said, the 8, he's the king at the super speedways with these guys. But Joe Wright, he won last week in the Xfinity Series, or in the Truck Series in the All-Star race. So we'll see.
15 laps to go. Jason Kraft continues to lead over Derek Chaput and Zachary Cox. Cody Moore hangs back in that 4th position. Devin Butchnow back in 5th.
Yeah,
Only
within about 6 laps, we're going to start seeing people come drop down here for fuel.
Only 9 trucks on the lead lap as well, so that's throwing a little bit of a monkey wrench in this as well.
It's killing my early bet with the 69. I was really thinking the 69 was going to be the truck that pulled this thing out, but not having a caution here is definitely hurting my chances. Jason Kraft definitely still looking solid out front, though.
I hear the field coming up on some lap traffic. Looks like the 62 of Dunn, if I'm not mistaken, down on the apron. He's going to stay out of the way. He's not going to be a factor as the field comes roaring by.
Yeah, multiple laps down. It looks like he just used his fast spare. I think he might have been saving it for hoping for late race caution. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get it. Had to just come and get fuel and just bite the bullet. Get the fast repair now and salvage what type of finish that he could possibly get.
So as we're coming down to the end of the race, we are quickly approaching the final laps here. And again, Jason Kraft just out in front, leading the field. Everybody minding their P's and Q's, running single file right now. I think they're saving up the fuel so that they can try to make a run here at the end and make it exciting.
I think what's going to hurt Jason Kraft the most is I don't see any teammate help up for him, because they all are going to have to make a pit stop at some point. And this is a track where you need help. You can't do it on yourself or do it all by yourself. You need help. And without coming to a pack or coming to the pits with a pack, it's going to be very difficult.
Well, he does have 2 teammates who are still in the race, the 79 of Stubblefield and the 97 of Hoytsma. So both Hoytsma and Stubblefield are running 11th and 12th.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're a little bit further back. I don't know how much they're going to be able to help him when he's out front like that. Whereas all the other drivers behind him, they have teammate helps pretty much nose tail, other than Cox. Cox is up there by himself with no help whatsoever. But everybody else has got a teammate within about two or three trucks. It's like Cody pulled out there for a second. Not sure exactly what he was doing. Not sure exactly what's going on with Chaput here. Seems like he's backing off quite a bit. Not sure if he's gearing up for a run like we were talking about earlier, or if he's really just in giant fuel save mode right now, realizing he's not going to make it.
I thought maybe he might have been coming down pit road this time as well. as we are coming to 11 laps to go. A lot of drivers staying out there. Who is going to be able to make it to the end? Who's going to have to come down pit road? Eddie Morris and Joe Wright both on pit road. So that shows that, so there we go. We got drivers hitting pit road. That shows that nobody's going to be able to make it because they were riding in the back, saving as much fuel as possible. And if they're on pit road, then we know that everybody else is going to have to make their way down pit road here at some point.
Yeah, I think within the next lap or two, this is really going to define what happens right here. But it just, with Eddie and Joe coming in, just the two of them, that's really going to hurt them if they come in at a big pack here into the pits. We got one more coming down. Looks like no help whatsoever.
Yep, that's Jacob Albert. He's coming down pit road by himself. He has a couple laps down, so.
Yeah, unfortunately, he probably should have had his teammate dip off with him. That's not going to help either. The two of them, not going to be a good finish for either one of them.
What a big lead that Jason Kraft has right now, and that is not what you want at a super speedway.
Yeah, he's just holding it wide open. He knows he has to pit. He's just hoping for a caution, or I'm not really sure what he's hoping for, honestly. If I was him, I think I'd lay back a little bit, try to get a little bit of a draft, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, as far back as Chaput is right now, he's actually not saving much fuel being back there like that. So we'll see here as we got Jessica Stubblefield says Stubbs, Kraft, and Hutzma are teammates in another league as well, and they want to see Kraft get that trophy here tonight.
Well, hopefully he can, but going to need to try to work together with this pit stop, and maybe they'll be able to pull it off. I mean, any lap they got to be pitting here. It's got to be this lap.
I was going to say, most of these drivers
moving around a lot. I think it's going to happen this lap. I think they're going to pit.
Cody Moore just moved up into the second spot. He drove right around everybody. I think he thinks he's saved enough fuel. And yeah, look at the speed difference between Derek Chaput and Cody Moore. I wonder if everybody's coming down pit road. And it looks like Kraft.
He's pulling off. He needs help. Where's his teammates? There
his teammates are coming as well. There's Stubbs and Hoytsma coming down pit road. So these three are lining up, and this could be the winning move for Jason Kraft, because I don't think anybody's going to be able to save enough fuel to make it to the end. We see Cody Moore out in front. He's got no help behind him. Devin Butchino is coming to his back bumper now, but
they're still going to have to pit. There's just two of them. Everybody's too spread out. The three of those guys that just came onto pit road, when they come off of the pits, they need to be bumped nose to tail and try to go as fast as they can when they come off of that pit road or that first lap. That is the only chance that they have.
And 3 cars is kind of the magic number as Cody Moore runs up the track. Devin Butchino is going to look down underneath. And I'm really not sure what's going on back here. See if anybody else peels off down on the pit road this time. No, everybody's going to pass down pit road or pass by pit road as we have 7 laps to go.
I don't think anybody's running full throttle for the past 10, 15 laps. I think nobody wants to lead. Everybody wants to be in the back, just drafting, trying to save fuel.
As we see the Serpentine trying to get people out of line. So to tell you, this tells the story right here. Last time by, Devin Butchino ran a 53.07. His best lap of the race is a 48.09. So the lap times have dropped significantly as these boys are trying to save enough fuel to make it to the end. And I just don't think there's enough saving. I as a super speedway racer, someone who's done this a long time and saved a lot of fuel on super speedways, I just don't think there's any way these drivers are going to save enough fuel to make it to the end.
Not with that much slower. I'll tell you what, I'm definitely pulling for Kraft now. I would love to see the 3 of them just motor right on by this fuel-saving group. We'll see. Can we go back to them and see exactly what's happening with them?
They are lined up. They got 4 trucks now in line as the 00 has pulled into this group as well. And we'll see what the speed difference is as they come down past the line this time. Last time by, Jeffrey Belk ran a 57:20. As Kraft is coming down to the line this time, he just ran a 50:65, 7 seconds faster.
I'll tell you what, man, a couple laps, they are going to be there. This is going to be a wild finish.
Let's throw the track map up so we can see exactly where these drivers are. And you see Jeffrey Belk just came across the line, and Jason Kraft is now just making his way into turn number 3. And yeah, they are 27 seconds back and gaining fast. And Eddie Morse just took the lead of the race.
Eddie Morse, one of my earlier guys to watch on. Definitely always solid at the super speedways. Right there, the 82 right behind him, and then he's got his teammate. Although he's not in it for the win on this one, he's still going to be a solid teammate and help out.
So yeah, those boys up there. Eddie Morris just ran a 49:14 to Cody Morris 56:05. Jason Kraft just ran a 49-second lap as well. So, man,
wait a second. Eddie and Joe already pitted.
Yes, they did.
Go to the finish.
They are good to go to the finish.
Wow.
They made that. They made that early move, that early pit stop, to get themselves in position, and it's paying off for them right now.
I'll tell you what, with these guys, with one running 1 and 2, not having to worry about fuel, Kraft might have a heck of a shot to get 3rd place here, because I don't think any of those guys are going to be able to make it to the finish.
Right now, Cody Moore and Devin Butchino are up on the high side, and they're pushing hard. So it's going to be tight here, I think. We're coming to 3 laps to go. I don't know if these boys have saved enough in this second group.
I don't think. I think they're gonna run out of fuel. I don't even see Kraft. I don't think they're gonna have a shot now. Yeah, they're just too far back. Unfortunately, it looks like they might have took on too much fuel and they were on pit road just a little bit too long.
They're just making their way into turn number 3, and the field is making their way off of turn number 2. But they're running side by side. This is going to be an exciting finish for sure, as Cody Moore now trying to take the lead away from Eddie Morse. This is going to be a wild finish. I really don't think these boys have enough fuel, but we'll find out in just 5 miles as we have 2 laps to go.
Yeah, I think the only 2 drivers we know for sure that more than likely have enough fuel is definitely the 82 and the 8. They're on the bottom. Everybody else, I think, is just living on a hope and a prayer right now.
Watch for these drivers to start sputtering. It looks like Cody Moore is out of fuel.
I think he's still moving. No, he's out. He's still good.
He's still good, so he's still in. It looked like he was out. Oh, Chaput. Derek Chaput's out of fuel. Chaput is out of fuel.
37 out of fuel. Yep, he's out of fuel. He was trying to push too hard early on. That just shows you that none of these other guys are going to be able to make it. It's going to be the 8 and the 82. It's going to be between the 2 of them for this race.
As they come across the stripe, white flag is in the air. 1 lap to go. Eddie Morris out in front. Joe Wright in second. Devin Butchino runs in that 3rd position. He's got Cody Moore behind. How far are they going to be able to make it on fuel as Butchino goes up to the high side? Cody Moore stays down on the low side.
No help up there. He's not going to be able to do anything, and Joe Wright is not going to leave the back bumper of that 8 truck. That is for sure.
Now Cody Moore up to the high side, giving a push to Devin Butchino as they make their way down into turn 3 and 4. And now Cody Moore diving down to the low side. Butch trying to use as much draft. Here comes Belk and Atlee Outman Weiss up on the high side. Where'd they come from as Belk gives the shove to other the wall.
They're wrecking.
Dustin Dean up on his roof.
Dustin Dean. Oh, on his roof. Eddie Morris is going to win this race. Wow. What a finish.
Joe Wright comes in second. Jeffrey Belk comes across the line in third. Atlee, Atman Weiss in fourth, and Cody Moore in fifth. But your winner here tonight is the 8 of Eddie Morris as he makes his way back around to celebrate here at Daytona in the season opener. Wow.
I
What
think we
a
can
race.
officially call Eddie Morris the Super Speedway King in the SCSRA.
And
He
he's gonna
can see the air. He can see it.
and you know that fuel call was Joe Wright making that call. He's always got that fuel calculator going in his head. He knows how to save fuel at these super speedways as we see these drivers lining up 1, 2, 3 here. Jeffrey Belk forgot to come down the front stretch here to
He
get
didn't
his
the
picture.
memo. He didn't get the memo. But that's a 1-2 for CCM. That's an awesome job. Yeah, great job all around for everybody. That was an awesome race to watch. That was exciting. Oh,
Yeah, here
Belk
comes
didn't
Belk.
get the memo.
He might be out of fuel.
The fact that they pitted under green and came back and finished 1-2.
Yeah, I think
wild.
Belk is out of fuel. So they're going to line up here on the grass. Or Eddie's going to come up and give him a push. Look at that. Let's go back and look at this finish here while they get lined up on the front stretch. And man, you see Belk and Atman up on that high side, just coming out of nowheres here. A little
I think Devin ran. I almost feel like Devin ran out of fuel. He like stalled, and Belk had such a giant run coming off of turn 4.
And then there you see Dustin Dean up and over on his roof.
Thank God the window net came down on that one.
And
Well worried.
Atlee was able to come home in fourth. As we see Eddie Morris now celebrating his victory. And we're going to take a look at the final results here as Eddie's celebrating and burning it down here on the front stretch.
Yeah, awesome job for Eddie. Awesome job for Belk. Awesome job for Joe Wright. Unfortunate for a lot of drivers out there getting involved in early on wrecks. Looks like, but unfortunate for him. Looks like, I mean, if he might not have run out of fuel, he at least would have probably had third. Looks like the 52 ran out of fuel as well. Just fuel mileage race, and the guys who pit, they came out on top.
So Eddie Morris with the win. Joe Wright comes home second. Jeffrey Belk, Atlee Weiss, and Cody Moore round out your top 5. Devin Bucciano back in the 6th position with Jason Kraft finishing in 7th. A respectable finish after having to come down pit road. 8th place, Zachary Cox, Derek Chaput, and Dustin Dean, after being up on the roof, comes home in 10th. Timothy Stubblefield in 11th. David Huitzma in 12th. Edward Manning, Jacob Albert, and Sylvan Segoyan make up your top 15. 16th, Brett Merle. 17th was Michael Cheeseburger Lawrence. Michael Dunn in 18th. Austin Blaylock and Michael Provolt round out the field here tonight at Daytona as we get ready to talk to our top 3, starting with the 54 of Jeffrey Belk. Jeff, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, how you doing, Josh?
Man, what a run you had there at the end. You and Atlee saving the fuel and having that run there at the end came out of nowheres and almost snuck in the victory there. Talk us through those the fuel saving and talk us through that last lap.
Yeah, so actually come to that last lap, we didn't know if we were going to be good or not. Then we got to the backstretch, and it's like, we've got it. We've got to go. And Dev went up, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to force it 3 coming down to the tri-oval, so I just tried to give Dev the push. About the same time, he ran out of fuel, so he had other things in mind than a push at the end of that.
So how close was it for you on fuel?
Up until the last lap, we were showing 0.02 at the line.
Yeah, that's
Man,
pretty
So
close.
extremely.
Yeah, that's pretty close. A little too close for comfort, but congratulations. Glad you were able to make it. Get your third place finish there and the debut of the season. And looking forward to next week at Charlotte. How you like running there?
Oh, I love Charlotte. Charlotte's a great track for me. It's got a good flow, and I always seem to have a good time when I'm there.
well, again, awesome job with the third place finish. Before we let you go, Jeff, anyone you want to thank? Any shots you got to give here tonight?
Yeah, of course. I want to thank, of course, Dirtbag Clothing Company, Dubby, Pig Glue, Intensive Broadcasting for broadcasting each and every week. Amazing broadcast, you guys, and everyone out there for tuning in.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congrats on the podium. Great way to start the season, and we look forward to seeing what you can do next week at Charlotte.
Thank you.
So, as your third place finisher, Jeffrey Belk. Let's bring in your second place finisher, Joe Wright. Joe, you got Josh and Nudie up in the booth. You got us?
Heck yeah, I got you, bud.
Man, what a run here coming home second place. Now, I got to ask, and I kind of called you out in this one. That fuel strategy that you and Eddie had, that had to be your brainchild right there. When did you decide that making that pit stop was going to be the right way to come down pit road and finish 1-2?
Well, so we knew we were the last ones on pit road. We took extra fuel, topped it off the best you can, coming to one to go, and we were monitoring it lap after lap, 3/4, half throttle, running 165, and I started crunching the numbers, um, and I just knew we at one point we got down to zero point 0.9 gallons remaining, or zero point 0.9 to fill it up to get to the end, but then it went back to 1.1, and I was like, nah, we're not gonna make it. And I said to Eddie, I said, we either got to hit pit road with 10 to go, or we're gonna have to ride it out like everybody else is. Like that's the option. And he's like, we're not waiting until 10 to go. Let's go now. I was like, sounds good. And we jumped onto pit road. Put 1.7 in the tank and made it to the end. And I just want to give a huge shout out to Eddie and the whole team at CCM, killing it week after week at these super speedways, man. We owned last week. We're owning again this week. And I'll tell you what, if anybody in this server or any other server doesn't think there's strategy involved in super speedway racing, you're sadly mistaken, and that's probably why you lost.
You made me a believer. I was not a believer in super speedway strategy racing until you became my teammate and Eddie became my teammate. And I'm watching all you guys. You guys are the best in this league at this by far. And you guys do an awesome job. And I'm glad to have you guys as my teammates. And basically, I'm just riding you guys' coattails on finishes at this track.
Yeah, hey man, it goes back to the days of Josh and me running them day after day, week after week with the FND guys. So I'll always shout them out for the super speedway talent and the things were done back then with those guys, mediocre motorsports, and all the guys back in the day, man. You were with the creme de la creme of super speedway racing. They were fixed sets, they were all, open sets. It was everything was awesome. It was good stuff, and it taught me a lot when it comes to that. People don't understand it. So they just talk shit instead.
So,
Well,
so, so my only question is, this was the first Super Speedway race this season. We got another one, and we got two more in the other Xfinity series. Is Eddie going to push you next tomorrow night?
I mean, we got Dustin Dean up there. We got to get you up there. So we got some other fellows
Oh,
on
no.
our team to
Don't
take
worry
care
about me up there. I'm never going to be good at this. I'm never going to win this stuff.
of.
I'll deal with the other tracks. This one, I'll just do the best I can to not cause a wreck, and I'll play blocker.
Yeah. So Dustin pushed me to the win in the Open last week. So we'll see what he can do to get him one tomorrow, or even later in the playoffs.
well, Joe, great job coming home in second here tonight. Before I let you go, anyone you thank? Any shots you got to give here tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Intensity Broadcast and yeah, man, Weiss and you, Josh, up in the booth every week, putting in the time and the effort. People don't know what goes on behind the scenes to make that stuff happen. It's awesome stuff. Being able to watch it back and just have that historically, indexed forever for us to watch. When we're 75 years old, to tell our kids about this stupid sim racing we were doing or some crap like that. It'll be cool. CCM, obviously, Mr. Nudie for the league. Bacino Sports Cards, Morris Customs, that's the sponsor for this league this week, or in the truck. So shout out to them. But man, just awesome racing all around. I could have liked a little less wrecking, but it is what it is. It's super
Yeah,
speedways.
I was actually going to ask about. There's a lot you got, or not you in general, but like just it seemed like the field was very aggressive at the beginning of the race. How did you feel about that?
I thought I was riding super high and not pinching and kind of not being aggressive, and then all of a sudden, I think it was Merle just turned right. I'm not sure what happened to him, but he got sent up the track, and it caused a pretty big one. But yeah, I thought it was pretty tame early on, and then it got a little wild for a little bit.
Tame early on. That's when I thought it was the craziest.
There was a lot of bumping up front, Joe, you didn't see. So when you go back and watch this one, you'll.
When I'm up front pushing somebody, I'm not worried about what's behind me, so that's probably why.
Well, again, great job. We look forward to seeing what you can do next week at Charlotte, and good luck the rest of the season out.
Thanks, guys.
Congrats.
So that was your second place finisher, Joe Wright. Let's bring in the man, the myth, the legend, the fried piper himself, Eddie Morris. Eddie, you got Josh up in the booth, and Brian up in the booth. You got us?
Hey, what's up, fellas?
Man, what a run here tonight. You and Joe, excuse me, making that fuel call there. It sounds like you took the reins of that and said, we're going to go down pit road now, and it worked out in your favor. Were you shocked that you were able to drive back up there and have as much speed there as the rest of the field was saving fuel?
Man, when I looked up and we were going into, I think 1 and 2, and the pack was on the back stretch, I looked up and I think it said 13 seconds on the relative. And about halfway down the back stretch, I look back up and it's like 8 seconds, and I'm like, holy crap! Like we are absolutely hauling it. And like the call to pull, get gas was Joe's, and he's like, "What do you think, lap 60?" And like everybody was just 80%, 70% throttle, and it's like, man, we can't be doing that, and if we're gonna do this, and we weren't gonna make it anyway, it's gonna be really close, and I figured everybody else would probably saving too, so we'd be in the same boat as them. And he was like, "You want to go on 60?" And I was like, "Yeah, And then we started talking about how much slower we're going right now, and I looked down and I'm like, "Man, if we're gonna do another lap going that slow, and we're gonna go in anyway, we're gonna come out flying." So, I was like, "Joe, you want to just go ahead and go now?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure. Where are you going?" And I told him, and we went in, and we made the pit stop, got the gas, and was good to go. Man, at the end, I think I had .8 left in the tank, so it was definitely a pretty good call there.
Yeah, that was an awesome job. I was honestly, I was shocked when I saw you and Joe come in on there on pit road, and everybody else, nobody came in. I was like, oh well, you guys came out of nowhere. I got to be honest. I was looking at the 23. I was thinking that they were gonna have a shot. I was looking at Cody. Cody the 68. I was thinking that they were gonna win it, and then all of a sudden you guys just came out of nowhere. And the second I realized that you guys pitted, I was like, oh, if this thing goes green, they got it. They're gonna have to go full throttle. They can't. They don't have to lift at all. And I just got a quick question. So when you see the air when you're driving, okay, what does it look like? Okay.
It looks like the most majestic creature you would ever see in your entire life. Let me tell you. I mean, words just can't describe it. Like it's a magical experience.
Well,
Man,
I did pick you at the beginning of the race to win this race. But during the race, I did change my pick slightly. Not because
Oh,
I still love you. I still love you, right?
still love you too, buddy.
But I was looking at Edward Manning. I felt like he was going to be the guy. Unfortunately, he ended up getting involved in a wreck at a lap down. But you definitely proved me wrong. Well, you proved me right at the beginning, but then definitely my middle vote, what I thought you were going to do, uh, didn't pan out, and I'm glad. And I'm glad. Well, you know what I mean. I'm glad you
Yeah,
won. Great job,
yeah.
bud.
Appreciate it, bud. I'm kind of hurt that you went against me though, but
I
you
only
know.
went against you for viewership.
Oh, okay. It's cool then. As long as it brings in the views, we're good with it. But
well,
man, what about Joe Wright, man? What a heck of a pusher. Like him and D Wright, man. You got those guys behind you, man. You're definitely going places for sure. Definitely got to give a shout out to them. I know Dustin Dean's a pretty good pusher. Austin Blaylock, of course, Nudie.
I'm not.
We
I'm
gotta
not
get
no
Nudie one of these
pusher.
guys.
Yeah, I'm not.
well, tomorrow night we move into the Xfinity Series here. How do you like your chances of sweeping the season opener?
Man, we won last week. And I think Joe pushed me to that one too. I hate it, man. I mean, I don't hate it, but like, like if I could trade spots with him every once in a while and not lose a bunch of spots on the track, like I'd like to repay the favor. You know what I mean? But it just works out that way that I don't know. I'm usually in front. Uh, I mean, if he's ever in front of me, he's definitely knows that I'm going to stick with him, and if we're going to race for the win, it'll be just between me and him coming off a four, and one of us is going to finish first, and one of us is going to finish second. So hopefully we'll get to finish like that one time, or maybe I can push him to the win. I know I owe him some. I know D Wright, I owe him some. Man, this IOU list is getting longer.
I think you owe me one too, but I'm not counting. But
See?
but great job here tonight. Before I let you go, Eddie, anyone you want to thank? Any shots you got to give here tonight?
Oh yeah, man. Of course, Intensity Broadcasting is always the best broadcasters in the business. Of course, you, Josh, Atlee, Atman Weiss, um, Nudie for having the league, and Dev Sports Cards for being the Xfinity sponsor. Um, so definitely check them out. It might be a little bit too close to Christmas to get them sports cards, but still check him out and spend that Christmas money with Devs and get that sports memorabilia person the right gift just in case you messed up and get them the right one in the first time. Who knows? I mean, it happens, but definitely check Dev Sports Cards out. Morris Customs for the Truck Series, rocking out some pretty sweet paints. You mentioned Edward Manning earlier, man. That truck, I just got finished with it, and he got it on his truck today, and that thing looked pretty sweet. Um, yeah, man.
I
I'm
knew
sure
there
I'm
was
forgetting
something I
some
liked
people.
about that truck. I wasn't sure what it was.
It's that Morris Customs, man. I'm telling you. But no, just everybody involved in making this a thing and letting us do what we really enjoy doing with our brothers, and um, yeah, man. Shout out to Atlee's grandpa. I know he usually watches. Uh, Joe's mom and dad. I don't know if they watch this or not, but if they do, I'm shouting out to them. Like I said, I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody. So
Well, an awesome job, Eddie. We look forward to seeing what the rest of the season brings you. Good luck tomorrow night, and good luck in 2 weeks at Charlotte.
I appreciate it, man. Dustin Dean sucks. Cody Moore, Sister P. Figured I'd add that in there.
Good job, Eddie.
Thanks, buddy.
Have a great night.
Thanks, bud.
So there you have it. Your winner here tonight, Eddie Morris, says, well, we close on Nudie. I mean, just a wild finish there at the end. Bunch of fuel saving, but able to get it done here tonight.
Yeah, that was a wild finish. Honestly, who ended up winning? I would 10 to go. I had no idea that Eddie was going to have any shot to win this thing. And Joe finished second. I thought it was going to be settled between the guys that were staying out trying to save fuel or the 23. I legitimately totally forgot about Eddie and Joe. They did an awesome job, and it's going to be an awesome season. I'm looking forward to being up here in the booth and calling this whole season with you.
Well, I'm looking forward to it too. And again, congrats to Eddie Morris with the win here tonight. That's going to do it here for Intensity Broadcasting. Thank you for joining us, whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Twitch. Don't forget to hit that like button, follow, and subscribe. Check out Morris Customs, link down below in the description. You can also check out our great partners over at thebuttkicker.com, intensityracing.com, as well as raceepi.com. For Brian Canuti and myself, we want to thank you once again. And from everybody here at Intensity Broadcasting, we want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a happy holiday season, as we will be taking next week off for the holidays. So join us back here in 2 weeks. And as our boy Atlee Atman Weiss would say,